All right, welcome in. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna, Global Sports Broadcasting Network, coming to you live from the GSBN studios. We got a big show for you. A jam-packed show like we always do. But let me talk to you about it here. I'll give you about 30 seconds. I got Roman Gabriel III coming in, Mark Mancini coming in about an hour, and we got a boatload, a shipload, a big Titanic of a show for you. That's coming up here in about 30 seconds. Can you hang in there for 30? I bet you can. Right here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. We'll be back in 30. All right, welcome in. Hanna Time, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna, and got a couple of big guests coming in today. One especially in Roman Gabriel III. Yes, the Roman Gabriel, the father, great quarterback, his son, Roman Gabriel III, coming in a little bit. But I want to talk Super Bowl, playoff, like all these scenarios, possibilities. You know, it's playoff time, NFL, right? And let's throw this out here real quick at the top of the show. These are the teams that have not won a Super Bowl. A couple of them have made it to the Super Bowl. But if you look at this screen and look at that chart there are a bunch of teams that got a shot. Now, I mean, the Vikings, they've been to multiple Super Bowls way back in the 70s. They got the Bengals. Can they get back from a year ago? The Chargers got there once and got smoked by the 49ers. And the Jaguars never made it to a Super Bowl. Got a couple of AFC championship games, but they never gotten that far. And those are the five teams on the Buffalo Bills. I can't forget about the Bills. But there you are. You have five teams. That's a pretty good size number. The percentages, I feel good in favor. The Bengals a good team. Vikings a good team. Bills a good team, right? I'm not quite sure about the Chargers. And are the Jaguars the 2023 version playoff football of the 2022 version of the Cincinnati Bengals? Took 2 years to get to a Super Bowl after being the worst team in football with the number one pick, getting that quarterback. Yeah, it's all there in front of you right there. All right, so that's one stat for you coming in right now for the Super Bowl. I do want to put out some condolences out to the Presley family. Lisa Marie Presley passed away, and I'm a big Elvis fan, big time. And I just saw the news come across the board right now, so I just wanted to all the condolences out to Priscilla and any relative related in the Presley family. I know she had some children too, so wow, people just dying everywhere, just dropping off, right? So yeah, we'll keep those thoughts with much love too. So, all right, let's charge it right back up, folks. Wild card weekend, playoff football. We talked about those teams right now, and two teams in the wild card game coming up this weekend are the Giants and the Ravens. Out of these two teams, who's got the best shot of winning their game this weekend? The 6th seed, right? Both these teams. The last 4 seasons, though, let's put it this way. The last 4 seasons, the 6th seed has won their game 7 times. They're 7-1 playing their game. Which team do you have more confidence in? The Giants or the Ravens going into this game this weekend? Ravens got to go against the Bengals. The Giants got a big task ahead of them also. Pick your poison, I guess, right? I got to think about this a little bit, and I had a lot to think about it today. Is the Ravens have a quarterback problem. Lamar Jackson is not playing. Either it's a real knee injury or he's just milking it for, I don't know why he would milk a knee injury and then have to get a contract knowing he's got a bad knee. It just doesn't make sense if you're Lamar Jackson. But so I'm taking that it is a serious injury, that he's not willing to risk it. But at the same time, does that hurt him in the contracts for next year? Maybe. Maybe some teams just don't want to go near him. Some teams will. He's been banged up. But the Ravens are going with their backups again. And as of right now, it could be their third string quarterback. And their second string quarterback is practicing, assuming he's going to start, and that will be helpful. But that Ravens defense needs to step it up. Now, that Bengals offense is potent, but they have a lot of missing parts on the offensive line. So something's got to give here. I think the home team, a lot of points scored by the Bengals. I think they're going to win. But so I'm going to lean back on the Giants now, who are a hot team. Finished the season strong, unlike the Ravens. So I'm going to go with the hotter team, but we'll see what happens. It's the NFL, man. These things just kind of like fall into our laps all the time, every week, about who's going to win, and points differential of margin of victory are like less than 6. It's always one possession. So we are expecting the same this weekend for a lot of these games, maybe all of them, very close down to the wire stuff. We're going to get more into the playoff stuff in a little bit. I'm still waiting on Roman Gabriel to come on in, and let me see if he's popping on me right now. Yeah. So he's warming up. He is on the East Coast, so I don't know if he got confused with the time zone. But let's move along. I got a lot to talk about here locally here in Arizona, folks. This one got me going. This one got me really going, folks. Think at this. Brittany Spears. Brittany Spears. Or like it, but Brittany. I was going to say Brittany bitch, but Brittany Griner versus Pat Tillman, right? One's clearly a hero, right? Pat Tillman, Tilly himself. You know his story. Gave up his whole football career and then his life in battle, or the way it went down. Some people feel that Brittany Griner does not deserve what she got. And I don't think it's her, campaigning for it. But Brittany Griner got Arizona Person of the Year. Arizona Person of the Year, Brittany Griner. How the heck does that happen? And when you have the elite of Pat Tillman with that title as Arizona Person of the Year, and then Brittany Griner, I'm not quite sure what Brittany has done. I mean, she got caught with stuff in Russia. There's nothing heroic in Person of the Year. This is the kind of stuff that makes you go, why is this a political thing? Why? What's behind it? Who paid who off for something like that's what I think. I mean, speculations, conspiracy type of thoughts, but how, don't you want to scratch your head? Pat Tillman gets Arizona Person of the Year from way back when, and now Brittany Griner gets it from last year. Doesn't even come close. It just basically disqualifies that title no matter what. It's sad because Pat Tillman's name is attached to it too. So it's got to put that out there. More political stuff around the NFL. When it comes to prayer, remember this, guys. Yeah, they're kneeling down, but this was last weekend in the NFL. This was last weekend. Russell Wilson, we know he is a religious guy and definitely prayer, and he's kneeling down, and he's wearing that Bronco uniform. That's Tim Tebow. And you remember Tim Tebow. Don't you remember Tim Tebow? How people scrutinized him and ripped him a big one because he kneeled down and prayed or just got a little blessing moment, and everybody started doing some TikTok stuff about him. But praying in the football, right? You can't have God, right? But everybody on that field praises the Lord after the game. They get an interview, and first and foremost, want to praise the Lord Jesus Christ. Give all my love and blessings and thank you and blah 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 blah, right? Every football player that you interview gets to say that, seems like, right? And that's beautiful stuff. But prayer in the NFL, this is hypocrite stuff, man. Not only just with the NFL, but the media around it. Now, this all stems back to Damar Hamlin, how it brought many people back, closer to God, back to God, prayer. And that is a beautiful thing. But why did we just choose to bring up prayer now? Because of a very nearly detrimental situation with somebody's life, it's kind of, I mean, it's again another twister. It's another twister, right? It's almost like whatever is the hot narrative, prayer is well good in my book. And I never saw it as a negative, but the people who shot it down and shot down Tebow when he did it and made him a joke of a joke, right? And now we see it all over the NFL this past weekend. Folks, I'm telling you, man, there are hypocrites everywhere. Everywhere. And I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it. I'd rather see this because that means it's back. And that means can they go back and attack it again? Or was it because Tim Tebow was a white quarterback who was kneeling down and praying and they just wanted to attack him because his clean-cut image, which is fantastic, by the way. I mean, Tim Tebow can show up anytime and have a motivational speech for me and whoever I'm with, right? But prayer. Let's get back to it. It's about prayer. And the NFL last weekend showed a amazing togetherness for it. And it's never too late to start believing and having stronger faith and that the power of God right there. And the NFL displayed it. I think out of all the sports that you watch around the world, you mostly see the NFL players praying. They pray before the game, during warm-ups. They're in the locker room praying. After the game, during the game, they're praying. And an unfortunate, serious situation to Damar Hamlin really pushed this to the forefront. And I'm all for that, to get it back to where it's supposed to be and where it was before. Again, good sign, good things, positive, right? It unifies. It's unity, right? A lot of love. People get upset because you're picking and choosing when to pray. As long as you have faith and believe, yes, I believe. But the NFL embraced it. Man, please do not go against, do not backpedal on this. And anybody who starts to do that again, disgusting to me. Tim Tebow never should have gotten that. All he did was something very simple. But it just makes you scratch your head. Good old NFL, man. Good old NFL. All right, here's a question for you right here. J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt. Does he get the hall pass in the first ballot? J.J. Watt. Does he get the hall pass on the very first ballot that he's on in 5 years? Right? I think it's 5 years. It all depends. It all depends on who is he up against, but he is definitely right there. I mean, he's going to push that for sure, J.J. Watt, to get in on the first ballot vote because of the career he had. He was a dominant force, one of the best or greatest defensive linemen the game has seen because of his numbers and what he's done. Unfortunately, he never got really far in playoffs, but man, the guy was one of the great defensive players of all time in the NFL, and I think the voters will have that fresh in their mind. Because he is also a great guy too, and I think I really will impress the voters. So good chance he'll get in on the first vote. J.J. Watt itself. If you missed it too, I'm going to show you right now. I think it was last night on Hard Knocks itself. Got the video for it too, where right before the last game, the night before the last game, the Cardinals in their defensive team meeting, whatever it was, just had a nice video from players around the NFL and loved ones around him too. So let's play it for you.
You're gonna love this, I hope. Brother, JH, I just want to say congratulations on retirement. You and your resiliency throughout all the ups and downs, you ending up in the NFL and you being a defensive player of the year and you having all the success that you had, showed me that it's possible.
Congratulations, buddy. See you in camp.
Congratulations on your incredible football career.
You're an incredible player. Excited to see the next chapter of your life. Good luck, brother.
Man, you were a pain in my ass for a long time. It was an honor to share the field with you.
Congrats on your retirement and Hall of Fame career, JH. It's been so special having a front row seat to it all, and I couldn't be more proud of you. Love you, bro.
JJ, before you were born, we had really big dreams for you and high hopes, but boy, you kind of blew those out of the water on your own. We are so happy for you. It's been just a complete joy watching you all through the years.
I got to be a big part of it for your first journey back in the day when I was your coach, and it's been a pleasure to watch you ever since. Kind of sad to see it come to your last game, but you have so many great things ahead of you that I'm looking forward to what the future brings for you, Kaylee and Co-op.
It has been such an honor to watch you work your ass off these past years and do whatever you needed to do to be the best. And you've always been so generous and kind and loving to everybody around you. And you never forgot who you are.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
I love you, brother. Just so proud of you.
And I know Cole will be so proud to be your son.
There you have it, J.J. Watt. It's over. It's over. But, man, the memories are great. And, again, if you want to root for a football player or have a hero-type mentality for somebody, that J.J. is definitely one of those guys that you could have definitely idolized as an athlete and as a person off the field, too. So, all right, comments coming in. I went over with the Brittany Griner thing and the Patrick Tillman stuff with Arizona Person of the Year. Let's go. David Robles in the house. Kathy in the house. So who else is in there? Todd in the house. It's up. Go Vikings, he says, right? You like the Vikings? Oh, all right. That's right. You're up from that area, too. Kathy's going hard today. What is she saying here? There's no comparison, but they are basing it off of the amount of media she received. Yeah, I know, but it's like the media part. I know you don't agree with that, but it's pretty bad. A lot of our players kneel in the end zone before the game. Nothing wrong with it, too. Exactly. We're talking about two things different here. So the Brittany Griner situation, again, is where she got Arizona Person of the Year. And then Pat Tillman is also the award winner of that because of what he went through in his life and everything else. And the comparison is crazy. And it's like you just tarnish something. It's just it's a tarnish because I don't think she did anything. She actually made mistakes. And, how do you respect things that she's made mistakes because she was in a jail? It was her own fault. And she got home. Somebody saved her. Pat Tillman never came home. Folks. All right. Karen in the house. Isabella in the house. Okay. And the other one was, the last one was the J.J. Watt thing, right? Was it? No. It was, what was there? The Enzo, the praying. The NFL with the DeMar Hamlin stuff. Yes. There's a Kathy. Yes. They are doing it all over the game. It's been nonstop, but it's just so odd and ugly that they try to rip on Tim Tebow. All he did was kneel down. He never was outspoken about it. He just he was a great guys loved playing for him. But everybody who didn't like him, or the media around it didn't like him, or anybody who was in politics just hated the fact that he was praying, and they jumped all over. And that's years ago. But we're happy to see that prayer is back, and it took a life-death situation last week of Hamlin to get that back to where nobody said one word. And if they did, they would have been just scrutinized, I would think, right? So let's hope that it's all back, and I appreciate the NFL, like I said earlier, is probably the only sport out of all of them that really shows it. And the players, most athletes after the games will usually get interviewed and they say something. But visually, you see, baseball players do it a lot too. They do a little thank you prayer, and they look up to the sky, to the God or their mom or something like that. But they always bless themselves at the plate. I remember when I was playing Little League, high school. Only as far as high school, I just could not step in the batter's box unless I blessed myself. It was like a ritual. That's all it was too. But I, just hoping and praying I get a hit, right? But that's how it was. All right. Let's move it along here. I got your comments coming in. Keep bringing it in, folks. Let's move along with more NFL stuff, and we're going to keep cranking away here. All right. So we all saw this last week. It was sort of a downer in a way because it could be an end of a career with Aaron Rodgers. And, even though you may like him or dislike him, and it's part of the NFL history. And we don't know if Aaron Rodgers, this is him leaving the stadium, off the field into the locker room with one of his players, Cobb, and they're heading into the locker room. And just a moment there where you just felt like the Drew Brees moment, Last year was Ben Roethlisberger. This is like 3 years in a row we've had this moment. We may have one this weekend with Tom Brady. Tom Brady may be what we saw last week with Aaron Rodgers. If Tom doesn't win and he walks off that field in Tampa into that locker room, is it the last time we see him playing? I think not, though. I think he's got more plans. But it's going to cross our minds. It's going to cross our minds. But Aaron Rodgers could be leaving a big hole in Green Bay, and which opens up more doors, right? There's coaching jobs, and then there's quarterback jobs, right? And there's a lot around the NFL. A lot around the NFL itself. All right. Let's see here. Cliff Kingsbury storyline. Let's go Cliff Kingsbury itself. All right. So Cliff is gone. And deserving. I mean, things were just spiraling out of control. I didn't think it was necessary to get rid of him right now because next year seems like a wash when you don't have a quarterback for the full year. You don't even know who's quarterbacking you next year. So with the money that you take a hit on, or did something work out on his contract where there was a buyout, which is really uncommon when it comes to head coaches in the NFL, but maybe there was a whole bunch of them out there with the Cardinals. But I was saying hang on to him another year, and unless you're going to go get Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh, and then that's fine. Then I'm okay. if it's not a big time coach, like big time, I don't want an intro coach again in Arizona. I don't want some rookie, get his feet wet kind of thing. That's the last two. Steve Wilkes was the first time head coach, right? Second time around, a little bit better in Carolina, right? And then Cliff Kingsbury, where not too bad for a little bit there, and then tank, and then it just fell apart. And a lot of it's not his fault. The team was just, besides the injuries, they really had no depth. I complained about this, and this is not Kingsbury's fault. It's not Kingsbury's fault. The Cardinals overall really had no depth. When a guy got hurt, they were just basically playing a second, third string kind of guy that really just couldn't match up, couldn't man up. You had a lot of young talent around them or developing still that he had to go through. It was a lot of problems on that roster, and that's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's the guy who put it together who's now stepping down or has stepped down, and Steve Keim, the general manager. To me, that was a big one because there needs to be a revamp of that roster. But Cliff Kingsbury itself, I don't have venom hate that he had to go, but I didn't think it was necessary to pull him out this fast unless you're going to get Sean Payton. You better hit big because then you're going to pay something else, and you may have a repetitive thing like you have the last few years, and you don't have a quarterback next year in Arizona. You don't. You have backups, right? And then you got to wait for Kyler to get back healthy and then see what you have. And whoever's that coach, does he have enough time to even develop him next year? Because Kyler's going to have a few games under his belt under a new coach next season. And that may be helpful enough to get him ready for the following year. So playing it out. That's one angle by getting rid of Kingsbury to get your quarterback developed with a new coach. But if you don't hit big on this, if you don't have it all lined up, and I don't know if he has a plan, Bidwell, but we're going to have to wait it out and see how this plays out itself. Your comments on that, I appreciate it coming in. We got Karen in the house. Hi, Karen. I forgot to say hi to you, I think, right? All right. So there it is. Now, quarterback situations, quarterback changes, quarterback openings, right? We talked about Lamar Jackson itself. Lamar Jackson is hurt. Not playing against the Bengals in the wild card. I mean, the Ravens were having a great year until he got hurt, but the last 3 or 4 years he's been hurt. Now, here's the question. Is he going to be a Raven next year? And where will he end up? And it's going to be money. Not going to be Arizona because you got too much money in one quarterback already. See, that's the problem with Murray. I mean, if he doesn't pan out, there's a lot of money in that. So, but Lamar Jackson he fits very well with that system in Baltimore. But wow, they're missing they may not even, let's say, against the Bengals. They may get blown out. And if they get blown out, does that raise the stock of Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens? Like, all right, like here's an empty check. Let's go. We need you because. Or do they flip the switch? They go to a passing quarterback, open up the offense, and go get a guy like, Derek Carr. Go get Derek Carr, who the Raiders, it's all over in Las Vegas with the Raiders. That's a possibility too. That is clearly a possibility. And that's another quarterback situation. Derek Carr. Okay. Where is he going to end up? I have an idea that may be fitting for Derek Carr. There's a lot of teams that need a quarterback. There's a lot of openings for a job, and Derek Carr is going to have a quarterback job. He's going to be starting next year somewhere. I have my hunch. I'm going to get to that in a second. Let's get back to Tom Brady. He's 7-0 against the Dallas Cowboys. He's playing the Cowboys in Tampa playoff game this week or next week, because I think it's a Monday night game, right? 7-0. But is this a Patriots Tom Brady team or a Tom Brady Buccaneer team from a year ago or 2 years ago? Not the same Buck team. We don't know. They looked good in their last game. Very good. Maybe they got their act together. We're going to have to wait and see how Tom Brady plays this out. Now, let's get back to more quarterback situations here. The New York Jets. This is Zach Wilson. He was benched a couple of times and don't even know if he's going to be starting next year or what they're going to do. But I have an idea. In New York, Zach Wilson needs more time. He needs to be the backup. And they need to bring somebody in. The New York Jets today announced, or at least there's a lot of speculation around that organization, that they want a veteran quarterback. They had Joe Flacco, who did okay for what he's been through in his career. But Derek Carr in New York would be a great match. Derek Carr in New York for the Jets would be a great match. Derek Carr can handle that media. Derek Carr is a tough cookie, man. Not even a cookie, man. He is just tough. And he plays ball. He's a football guy. New Yorkers will love that. He also can mentor a young Zach Wilson. Derek Carr is 10 years in the NFL, something like that. It's crazy. He's not young anymore in the way of football terms. He's been around for a while. So he's got a lot of knowledge and experience. Okay. That's one scenario. The other scenario goes back to this guy, Tom Brady. Tom Brady in New York with the Jets. If he does not stick it out with the Buccaneers, if he doesn't feel like it's a good fit anymore, he needs a change, New York Jets could be the spot. And wow, would this be crazy for the AFC East? He'll play the Patriots twice, right? Tom Brady loves New York. He's always in New York. Whatever. I mean, you think about him, a West Coast guy, but there's not much going on the West Coast. There's not much going on out West. Do you bring him in to Arizona and to mentor a Kyler Murray? But Tom Brady's like, you know what? I'm not here for 1 year. I may want to play 2 more years. He doesn't want to think about his 1 year and done kind of stuff. So I don't think that's going to happen, right? Good idea. A good idea in one way for the Cardinals, but in long term, no. For the Jets, same situation with Zach Wilson. It may take Zach a couple of years to get really understanding and learning from Tom Brady or a Derek Carr. The Jets may just need that, and we'll find out. This is just not even speculation, just my opinion of a good fit of opening jobs, of quarterback jobs around the NFL. And, Lamar Jackson could be looking for a job. Derek Carr is, Tom Brady, right? I mean, we just name a few there. We don't know how this all playing out, but if you need a quarterback, you may have a chance at some good veterans winning quarterbacks or guys who played in the playoffs, right? They all those names I mentioned in the playoffs. All right. So, there's Tom Brady. But there is one guy that I really love. I would really love to see is I would love to see Jim Harbaugh back in the NFL. I'm going to try to text on to Roman. I don't know if Roman is able to pop in just yet, but he's on the East Coast. And every time we get on the East Coast, We get time differences. All right, I'm just texting him. Let's see if he pops on for it. All right. Okay. And we'll do it again with them too. So, all right. So Jim Harbaugh is already scheduled to have an interview with the Denver Broncos. Okay. Denver Broncos, is it a really appealing job situation for a head coach? Does Sean Payton want to go there, right? You got Payton and Harbaugh as the top dogs in the NFL for job situations, right? What's the best fit? Sean Payton seems to be heavy on the Cardinals list. Obviously, he's getting the interview. Okay. There have been teams that have turned down opportunity. Coaches have turned down opportunities for interviews. Jim Harbaugh is literally, his hat is in the ring, folks. He has been asked, he's gotten permission or whatever to interview, and the Denver Broncos are looking at Jim Harbaugh. But there's a lot of other coaches looking at Jim Harbaugh. So if things don't work out with Sean Payton somewhere, you got a Jim Harbaugh is right there. I don't think you go wrong with that either. But Jim Harbaugh is definitely, this guy right here is definitely putting himself out there in the NFL. And people in Michigan are uncomfortable. And if he doesn't get the deal he wants, he goes back to Michigan. And Michigan is just going to have to hang with it. It's bottom line, right? Bottom line. It's very difficult to be in the NFL and as a head coach. I mean, there's only a certain amount of elite coaches that just can stick around the NFL for a very, very long time. You know, it's one of those things where jobs are coming and going now. Guys are getting fired every other year. You know, nobody's long-term longevity anymore in the NFL. It's just one of those things, right? And look at Cliff Kingsbury. I'm gonna type in something for you here, okay? Cliff Kingsbury. All right. I'm going to put him back on the screen for you, if I can find him for you. All right, there's Cliff. All right. Cliff Kingsbury already has a job interview with the New England Patriots. The situation in New England is this. For one, he was drafted by the Patriots. Two, they don't have an offensive coordinator. They really didn't have one last year. It was Mike Patricia. He never did it before. They thought maybe he could handle it. It was atrocious. Mac Jones was like having arguments with the offensive coordinator. He was frustrated. Cliff Kingsbury is very well liked by Bill Belichick. Don't be surprised. Real soon here, Cliff Kingsbury is packing his bags and heading out to New England and getting ready and getting to develop Mac Jones. And that's all he's got to worry about is get his quarterback and get that offense to score some points. And he was able to do that in Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury. He really was. With a good roster, he was able to put points on the board. With a quarterback that's short, now he's got a taller quarterback, not as mobile. But he's going to get a job. And it looks like it could be New England real quick because they don't have anybody there in New England to run that offense for them. They don't. They really do not. The Patricia days may be demoted to something else. And you know, when Belichick has a conference meeting with his owner, Mr. Kraft, I mean, Bill's not going anywhere. It's more about like staff. Who's on your staff? And how can we clean this up? Because we're not developing and growing. We need better coaching. And here comes Cliff Kingsbury. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, what a laughing stock. What a bad move. Don't be surprised, folks. Don't be surprised that Cliff Kingsbury does well in New England. Not because of Bill Belichick, just because he can focus on offense. He still has a good offensive mind. And he's not dealing with a short quarterback. So remember that, folks. It's a big difference. Kyler makes the best of his height. And they maximize everything they can with Kyler Murray. And they thought it would work. And at times it did work. But now let's see him work with a taller quarterback who can definitely sling it too, is Mac Jones, with a better system, a better offensive system. That's in New England. Look for Kingsbury to end up in New England. That's the hot talk right now for that. But when it comes to coaching, folks, you know, stability is everything. The Arizona Cardinals just do not have stability in that. It's just ever since I've been living in Arizona, which is, a few decades now. They have gone through so many coaches. Bruce Arians is their most winningest coach. Wisenhunt is there. I mean, those are the two right there. Those are the two. I remember Gene Stallings. I love Gene Stallings, but he was getting older in his health, but he did have the Cardinals at one point. That's 7-4 in first place. That was the first year of the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. But one guy for sure is Mike Tomlin. And folks, when we talk about Tomlin and we talk about the Steelers and things like that, folks, I fell for this organization the last month of football because they were 2-6. They were 2-6, just like Jaguars were 3-5 or 3-6. You know what I'm saying? These teams had no right to get into the playoffs other than just keep fighting away and plugging away, and they kept winning. And their coaches, Peterson in Jacksonville is a good coach. He's won before. So has Tomlin. But they weathered the storm. They got their players right. And they moved. But Mike Tomlin is on 15, 16 straight years of winning. He's never been below 500. Never. And the other thing is, too, is for the Steeler organization, I'm impressed. It just never stops with this organization. And I'm going to throw something else out here. I caught a photograph. Okay, a photograph of their two biggest stars on offense, the Steelers, Kenny Pickett and Najee Harris. If you look right over Najee Harris's shoulder, his right shoulder where the ball is being held, the stadium scoreboard, that's in let's see, is that in Baltimore? That was a couple of weeks ago in Baltimore. It has the recycle logo, right? For recycling. How fitting is it that the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to recycle and get back, and they still don't lose. They ended up 9-8, folks. They were 2-6. They still find way, and their young talent developed. They know how to draft, folks. They really do. And they blew it off the doors the last couple of years drafting players on offense. What's wild about that, they have another pick coming in this year's draft besides the one they have, I think, 16 or 17 overall. They traded away Chase Claypool. Not a bad wide receiver. Chicago needed a wide receiver, but they just don't have a quarterback that throws well. But the Steelers got the Bears' second-round pick, which is number 32 overall in the NFL draft. I'm telling you, they know what they're doing. The Steelers know what they're doing. If there's an organization that you want to, put mirror them to you, or you want to be a mirror to them, the Steelers are. Steve Keim and Kingsbury and all that stuff, it was too much like the Rams stuff. And the Rams did win a Super Bowl, but it wasn't mainly because of great coaching and stuff like that, and a system of drafting well and building and some concrete foundation of an organization. It's chaotic. It's helter-skelter, man. And look what the Rams are today. They spent it, and they're done. And they get now, who knows when the Rams are going to get back. It could be done for a long time in L.A. with the Rams. They had their moment a year ago. But it's not longevity, man. Is that your girlfriend? Is that going to be your boyfriend? You want a lifestyle like that, up and down, helter-skelter, man? Or you want foundation, right? You want strength. You want long-term, right? You want strength. It's Pittsburgh Steelers. So when we watch organizations crumble and we rip on coaches and all that and the front office people, why is the Pittsburgh Steelers always there? Always there. And I'm telling you right now, I fell in love with Kenny Pickett. I am excited. I just love watching him. He was a young quarterback this year, rookie, and just kind of found his way, and he looked like a veteran a veteran quarterback. He was not a rookie, but it's time that season ended, he was not a rookie. The Steelers know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they're picking. They're picking their guys just fantastic. All right. There was one state that is really rocking and rolling when it comes to the NFL playoffs, and that is the state of Florida. Folks, it's happened once before, but the state of Florida, Miami, Jacksonville, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are all in the playoffs for the first time in quite some time. So Florida, you got your teams, right? You got them. The chances of an all-Florida Super Bowl, Miami, you're in trouble. You got no quarterback. You're going to go back to a third-string quarterback. Tampa Bay, if you can figure out what you've been doing the last 2 years and get it right this year, maybe so. But I'm not banking on it. And Jacksonville, are you the Cincinnati Bengals of a year ago, or the last 2 years? Because your last 2 years in Jacksonville had just been going up, ticking up, right? But not bad. If you're in the state of Florida, man, who's got the bragging rights to go further and farther? And Super Bowl 57 is the destination itself. Okay. When talking about the NFL and when talking about how well they're doing and people watching, and they take a lot of hits, man. They take a lot of hits. It's like Mike Tyson punching on the NFL body bag, man. Boom, boom. And the NFL takes hits. And they constantly took a hit last week, right? Or just people want to take a hit at them. Sometimes it's not even necessary, but people just want to. And I've had my share of hits on them. But the NFL, TV ratings, all platforms, social media, everything else, right? Look at this, man. Look at this. Look at these numbers. This is for the regular season. 16.7 million average per viewer per game. 16.7 on an average were watching NFL football games this past season. 88 NFL games have been ranked as 88 out of the 100 shows on TV. So you have 100 shows throughout the year, and 88 of them are NFL. Top rated shows are coming from the NFL. The games that you may have watched that are this past year, top 5 games were the Giants-Cowboys game. That $42 million for a football game. Holy cow. I mean, it is New York, though, and Dallas is a good market. Buffalo and Detroit. Think about this. Buffalo and Detroit. 32 million, right? Think about that one. Green Bay and Dallas, 29 million. Dallas and Philly, 28 million. And then Dallas and Minnesota had, so Dallas is all over the board. Everybody, it's a Dallas thing, right? I guess. But the NFL is doing okay. People still watching it after everything I've been through. They keep finding their way, and I don't know what's going to take them down. It seems like something's always taking them down. I don't know if it's going to be flag football or what, but the NFL continues to be doing okay. All right. Let's see here. I was trying to get Roman Gabriel in the show here. I don't know if he's okay, and I hope he's okay. I really do. I hope he's okay. But the time difference could be a big one for him. All right, let's move on. Here's a topic for you, folks, and this is something that a lot of people may not like. A lot of people may not like this, but and some people do. They want this to be exposed and brought out to full attention. We just heard Lisa Marie Presley passing away from a cardiac arrest, another heart issue. We're hearing a lot of this more and more. Is it just getting a lot of attention now because of COVID, or is just average numbers, and we're just getting more popular people involved that we're seeing dying or having heart issues, right? When there's smoke, there's fire, right? And there's a lot of smoke with this. And my perspective on athletes who are dropping like flies, folks, and dying, and I'm going to show you a few more just this week alone. Just this week alone, right? I'm just picking a few out. I don't know how many are more out there, okay? But the NFL is concerned about it after last week. We'll see what measures they take, okay? But when it comes to society and people and political stuff, continue as sad. I'm telling you, it's so sad. I don't know why people have to die for us to get attention. I don't know why Hamlin had, everything he went through last week with Buffalo and surviving and had to get everybody's attention and open up these doors a little bit more. But it takes devastating news of people's lives, people dying. But it always comes back to the heart problems, heart issues, heart attacks, young people. And as people have taken booster shots, athletes have been forced to take it or they don't play, right? Think about that. The NBA, everywhere, you cannot play unless you get the shot, right? I remember a year ago, Aaron Rodgers was just ripped upon. Remember Aaron Rodgers was just ripped because he so-called lied because he didn't want to take the jab? And everybody was jumping on him. I wasn't. But there's a lot of people. But now, as time has gone on and people have gotten the jab, athletes who were forced in one way because their career, either they can't play or get the jab and play. I remember, who was it? Ice Cube, the actor, the rapper, just said this the other day, or at least it was a video I saw. He was offered $9 million for a movie. $9 million. And he turned it down because he needed to take the jab and he won't take it. He made that decision. But they kind of put you in a forced place, like your career. Now, there are some athletes who just don't make a lot of money like that. Ice Cube makes millions when he's done. He's got a lot of money. He's good. He's set for life. Tom Brady's set for life. He don't have to worry about it if he didn't have to take the jab. And maybe he didn't. I don't think Tom Brady took the jab. I just don't think he did. I think somehow, some way, the NFL kind of turned their backs on it, but made it a big stink and made a big deal of it, right? But I think a lot of guys, but the ones that did, right? And I'm concerned. It's the Pfizer and the Moderna that seems to be the one that's really hitting people hard with this heart issue. Now, let me show you something here. Here is a high school player. Oh, this is hard. Okay. He was a senior. He just died the other day. High school senior. He went to gym class, folks. He freaking went to gym class. How does a young, and it's just one story. No, this is multiple stories of young high school athletic kids dying, dropping on the field, the court, whatever they're playing, whatever sport they are. This kid, man, high school senior, dies of cardiac arrest after gym class. Gym class. You telling me something's not up? You don't tell me there's a fire where that smoke is? But people don't want to get into it and dig into it. Let me tell you another one right here. Here's another one, another story. Air Force. This guy, Air Force Academy. This guy was a star athlete in high school. Baseball, football. I think he played basketball. He collapsed. He died. This guy was in great shape. He was young. How do young people die with heart problems, folks? Think about it. Think about it. Now, there's other ways to look at it, but man, there's a problem, folks. And it's starting to spiral, and people are starting to talk, and it's putting a lot of pressure. There's more numbers and facts out there. There's more scientists, follow the science. What the science is telling you, that they're not trusting it. And I literally heard one person who was one of the scientists about the shot, about the jab, saying that it's not working the way they thought it was going to work. There is concerns for that. Now, I don't know if somebody's going to assassinate this guy for talking up like that, but that's kind of what happens. You got to keep your mouth quiet or they come after you. Here's another story. Soccer player. Mbami, not Mbappe from, former Cameroon. Okay. Soccer player dies. He's 40 years old after a heart attack. He took the shot. Okay. This is just recent stuff, folks. We're having young people dying of heart problems. Last week, Damar Hamlin, people said it was an irregular heartbeat or the timing of a hit right to the chest, and boom, caused the cardiac arrest. Well, maybe just that the heart wasn't as strong to take that hit, and it happened. Maybe if he didn't take the jab, maybe he wouldn't have collapsed on the field like that. But you're going to just ignore that. Folks, this is sports, but it's also political. And at the same time, we got to talk about this and not stop, because many people, millions of people have taken this. So if the highest level of athletes from youth, high school sports through college into adult professional sports are dropping and dying in the last few years in a short window at a high rate that they don't want to talk about, that means it's dangerous. Bad. And they did that to you. I know it's hard to understand this, folks. And I know it may be painful, but this is serious stuff. And you have to understand that you have to think both sides of the story now. There's always two sides of the story. Always. You want another one? I got one more for you. Look at this woman. It's a hard photo to look at, folks. Very hard. But sometimes you just got to put it out there. Is this Spain? I think it's in Spain. A hospital in Spain, right? She was in I think like some type of workout gym, with her fellow ladies. And she was lifting weights, like, squat weights. Or I don't know what was going on. She was standing next to the other lady, and she put down the weight, and then she just collapsed face down into the floor. And she died. Working out. I mean, it's like all of a sudden we're just finding these things out. You say, oh, it's happening all the time. It's happening all the time. Folks, don't ignore it. Okay? Take care of yourself. Okay? Hopefully they can find something that really will help the heart. Okay? They're finding like high proteins that are attaching themselves to the heart, into the interior of the heart. Okay? High protein. Let me show you something else, folks. Do you know what this is? Do you know what myocarditis is? This is Johns Hopkins Hospital, medicine. One of the elite hospitals in the country, in the world. Says this: the most commonly caused by infection. This is myocarditis. This is what's happening to athletes who are dying, or athletic people, young people, and unfortunately people who are not athletic. Okay? Creates an infection in the body from viruses, most common including those that cause the common cold, influenza, and COVID-19. Bacteria, fungus, parasites can lead to myocardial inflammation, myocarditis. Johns Hopkins medicine. Oh, now we got more. Now we got some big people stepping up. Now it's starting to open up. It's too bad it's a little too late in a lot of ways, because a lot of people's lives have been lost. But we got to get this right to save. Hopefully we can find the antidote or something like this. We got to find one, because it's not saving lives. It's killing people. Okay? Heart problems, folks. Do you realize what your heart is, folks? Do you understand what your heart is? More people, more science, more studies are coming out too. Remember, we're supposed to follow the study, follow the science. Brain and the heart are connected. The heart works like the brain. The heart communicates to the brain, tells the brain what's going on. The brain is like the computer. It just figures it out, and it just kind of, but the heart is everything, folks. Okay. And you know that, but they mess with it. They mess with your heart, and that's not cool. Okay. Experimental drugs too, man. Unbelievable. Here's something else about it. I showed this last week. More numbers, more data. All right. It's still showing more and more. It's out there. But the main media, the big media, don't care. They don't care. But we have athletes dropping like flies. Great athletes, big-time athletes. All right. And that doesn't scratch your head. Right? Was it over a year ago? Hank Aaron, the home run king, Hank Aaron, 2 weeks earlier, took the shot. 2 weeks later, collapsed. Nobody says crap. Nobody says anything. Go have a conversation with Ice Cube about why he didn't take the jab. He turned down $9 million. $9 freaking million. Unbelievable. All right. I don't know if Roman's coming in. Maybe something. I hope he's okay. Mancini's coming in here in a bit. I appreciate that. Let me see here. All right. We'll wait for Mancini to pop in here in about 5 minutes, and then we'll go from there. All right. Now, we're going to move on. Okay. And, I got a video for you here. Let me play this for you. Where is it? All right. Last Monday night, Georgia, the Bulldogs, won the national title for college football. And they destroyed. The dog ate the frog. Ate them up. Ate all the frogs, right? The worst lopsided victory for a national championship that anybody's seen. Okay, I remember the Gators getting destroyed. Gosh, my mind's blanking here. But there's been a couple of blowouts, okay? But Georgia, it was so bad. You got to watch this video. You have to watch this video. It was so bad. Watch this. That's right. They're eating during the game. That it was such a blowout. They started going over to the fans that are behind the bench and eating chicken wings, grabbing food, bringing it over to the teammates on the sidelines. It's incredible. I'm going to save this video for Mancini and see what he has to say about that. But I need to show you right off the top itself. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. All right, I'm going to play you some more videos here. All right, never get in the ring with a bull, folks, because this might happen. Watch out. That's why you don't get in the ring with a bull. Okay. All right, last week, I don't know if I showed this to you, but new sport, surfing on fish. How about that? Check this little Asian girl. This is pretty incredible. Just cruising along. Yep. Look at that. Man, I don't know how the fish handles that, man. I must love it. I mean, what a connection there, huh? I've never seen that before. Have you? All right, I'm going to say that one for Mancini when he pops in here in a minute here. Let's see here. I got some really good stuff, too. I definitely got to use it. Let's get back to the top. Storylines. Baseball. Okay? This storyline right here. Carlos Correa. He played for the Twins last year. All right? Free agent. Wanted big money. San Francisco Giants thought they had him signed. Find out his physical, didn't like his ankle problem, and quickly the Mets jumped in and the New York Mets grabbed him, and the Mets signed him. Well, they thought they were going to sign him. Didn't quite get his name on the dotted line. Now the Mets were concerned about his health and longevity and the big money that we're going to spend on him. Oh, the Mets didn't like it. And here comes the Twins again, throwing about $200 million to get their shortstop back. And he's back, signed and everything. What a roller coaster, miserable offseason. This is, I love to hear his comments and the media talking to Carlos Correa. And this is the guy who was part of the Houston Astros cheating scandal when it came to that 1 year. And maybe this is like a little punishment. Okay. I don't know. Maybe the Twins will have a better year. Who knows? But it's been a long time since they won a World Series in Minnesota. Okay. Comments coming in. I appreciate it. I want to look and hear from you right now. And let's see here. All All right. Mancini's coming in. No problem. All right. Let me get your comments coming in right now, and before he jumps in, and then we're going to show you some more here. All right. All right. What do we got here? Nobody's there. Okay, good. All right. All right. Next one, Red Sox. Trevor Story expected to miss time with elbow surgery. Why do you wait until January to get surgery? Why does the Red Sox wait? The Red Sox have had a miserable offseason. They've lost some of their star power. Their roster is totally, they're bringing in old veterans. Trevor Story was a nice player in Colorado and looks like he's been banged up for the last couple of years and has never regained his all-star caliber. And you wait until January for this guy to have a surgery where the season ended back in, you can really say September, where you say shut him down and go get this guy surgery and get him ready, because it takes about 4 to 6 months to get that ankle right. Do the math, folks. This guy won't be back in their uniform until June. Won't be until June that Trevor Story ever sees something like a playing field. The Red Sox are a mess. They're a complete mess. All right. And they're like, we don't even know if they're ever going to be able to outdo the Baltimore Orioles. Okay. And which has been the worst team in baseball for quite some time until last year. The Red Sox may be at the bottom for quite some time, folks. They got a lot of problems all over. Manager-wise, pitching-wise, and even hitting-wise. And they lost a lot of star power. There's no more Mookie Betts in Boston. Xander's not there anymore. He's in San Diego. All right, 2 big bats gone. That was part of their core and their long-term future gone. People in Boston are freaking out. They only got is the Celtics and the hot Boston Bruins right now, and they'll put their hat on that, but not the Red Sox. New England's done too. The Patriots. All right, let's bring in Mancini. We got a short time window with him right now. Let me get that guy off the screen. All right. How are you, man?
Well, I couldn't help but hear that, man. Boston, and it's like these, foreign countries. Sometimes you got to join. You hate the other country, but then you got to, go with them and team up with them when, another country comes in and invades. And on this case, being a Pittsburgh boy, I'm gonna have to break out the Beat LA shirt, because what the hell is going on in LA compared to Boston? At least you just talked about the Celtics and Bruins, but yeah, I like Alex Cora. I know they signed Rafael Devers to big money. They lost Bogarts, they lost Betts, but they got a guy in there that'll sell tickets. He's a Kirk Gibson Chuck and Justin Turner. So what have they done in LA? The Dodgers had breaking news last night. They signed Mel Rojas. Who the hell is Mel Rojas? What's Mel Rojas gonna do for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Somebody came out with some, future World Series champions. They had the Dodgers winning this year, the World Series. I'm like,
people gotta stop smoking crack, man.
I don't see it.
Come on, man.
I don't see it.
Stop smoking something. What are they talking about, man? Put the peace pipe down. Get out of the VW60s bus and stop looking like Bill Walton. Come on, man.
Hey, real quick here. I had Roman Gabriel was supposed to be on the show, and I'm not quite sure what happened, but he's always been loyal to me, so I hope everything's okay. But I want to pop this through real quick. A year ago, at the Super Bowl in LA, that's myself and my daughter. That's Fred Dreyer, the former great. He played for the New York Giants. He was drafted by the Giants and then ended up in LA, became a bigger star in LA. But great man. This is at Roman Gabriel III. His charity event that he does every Super Bowl, the week of the Super Bowl. And got Lee Steinberg's there, all these great names.
Yeah.
It's a legend thing. All right. Here is Legends and Leaders. Okay. Look it up, folks. If you're in Arizona or you're going to be at the Super Bowl, I think it's February 10th from what I'm looking at right now. This is a great event, great speakers, motivational, helping our youth to get off some bad stuff too. But you get to rub shoulders with some former NFL, NBA, female professional athletes. The woman in that photo, I had a photograph. Let me see here. This is my daughter with Danielle Martin. This girl was like a world-class athlete. What a conversation she had. You get to talk to these people too. And I highly advise you to join in with Roman Gable III in his charity event, Super Bowl week. It's going to be in Scottsdale at the Sky Song ASU campus location. Here are some of the people that that he's promoting right now. Lee Steinberg is there. Paul McDonald, former NFL and USC quarterback. You have Ronaldo Wynn, NFL player and Notre Dame football player herself, and Dr. Shannon, sports psychologist too, and business people too come in. It's awesome. I went to it last year, Mark. It was just phenomenal experience, and you walk out of there just so much more knowledgeable about things and feeling better about what to do in life, because these people and where they've been, a lot of their struggles they talk about. So that's February 10th, Scottsdale, Sky Song ASU. Check it out. Roman Gabriel III. Look him up, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, I'll get him on the show. I don't think
what happened? Boy, the last couple of days, we lost Lisa Marie Presley today.
Yeah.
And then we lost Charles White last night. What's going on, man? Losing too many people.
I just did a whole thing about
Jeff Beck.
Jeff Beck. Yeah. I mean, this is every day this week we lost somebody. Every day.
Yeah.
I mean, people are dropping like flies. And I just did a big segment on athletes and cardiac arrest and the COVID stuff. And I'm not going to get back into it because I stayed on it long. But all right, I'm going to go back and refresh a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this photograph and Aaron Rodgers' future?
Maybe he's taking Cobb with him to Vegas. I think there's something there that I don't think he'll be back in Green Bay. I think he's going to Vegas or he's going somewhere. But I don't think it's going to be Green Bay.
All right. What about this guy? Where's he going next? I have him going to New England.
Man. I mean, well, I'll tell you one thing.
Patriots, offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. But I guess the other question in L.A. Out here is Sean McVay, and he doesn't want to be part of a rebuilding process, and can't quite blame him because they're going to gut that franchise down from the bare minimum. So he doesn't want to be a part of it. You don't know where Brandon Staley, if he gets ousted in the first round of the playoffs, which I think he will. He's made a lot of bonehead mistakes this year. So 2 LA teams could be looking for coaches.
What about
Houston, Lovie Smith?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
there's a lot of openings. There's a lot of openings, a lot of jobs. And the NFL is going to,
Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you don't know what's going to happen after the playoffs. Somebody may get an axe, like you said, like the Chargers itself. Somebody may get the axe.
Vegas. Well, how about Vegas? Unless Davis thinks McDaniel's the guy there, just bringing a quarterback, and whether it's Rodgers, I think the big thing is Devontae Adams. If he sticks, or he requests a trade, or tries to sit out, if they don't bring a Rodgers in there, or they don't bring a Brady in there, because I think Carr got a shaft. Carr totally got a shaft job.
All right, so here now you're jumping in next. This is my next, the quarterback situation. There's a lot of jobs for quarterbacks in the NFL. The one in New York is open because the development of Zach Wilson needs somebody there in New York to develop him more. They didn't do a good job. This guy is pure.
Well, he's not happy with 1 or 2 women. This guy needs a harem of women, man. I mean,
well, hey,
that's the problem there in New York, and it's well chronicled. I mean, come on, let's face the facts.
Joe Namath was able to pull it off, but he's not Joe Namath.
Joe Namath.
but in this time, in this era with football, and it's a lot more strategic offensively than Joe was handing the ball off to Matt Snell and then doing some play action,
Look, come on. The Jets haven't been relevant, and you can go back. Well, I liked Sanchez when he was there. We got him to 2 AFC championships. Before Sanchez, the last time they were relevant was Richard Todd.
No, Vinny Testaverde got him to AFC champion. They lost to Denver, I think it was. It was Bill Parcells' run. But that's not the point about this. The Jets are going to have to bring in a quarterback. And the word came out they want a veteran quarterback. Get that?
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Garoppolo is one. Derek Carr is one.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised if things don't go well this weekend in Tampa, Tom Brady.
I don't think Tom Brady goes there. I think he wants a warm weather city like Vegas.
I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Tom loves New York. He's always in New York. And it's a good change for him.
The one guy that ain't going anywhere is that silent killer with the great hair that quarterbacks for the redheaded stepchild Chargers, Justin Herbert ain't going anywhere.
No. That guy's there for 10 years, man. Like, that's solid.
Miami's probably kicking in some coconut trees down there in South Beach, figuring, man, we took the wrong quarterback here.
All right. I'm going to play a video for you. Okay. I just played one video. I got a bunch of videos for you. Okay. This one video, this is Georgia during the game crushing TCU.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I called that. I should have put money on it.
Why didn't you, man? You should my God. All right.
Before you play that video, I want to say, I think there's 3 teams here that need to apologize because they were roadkill, and the other 2 will be roadkill this weekend. TCU has to apologize for pretending they were Cinderella and they weren't going to lose their slipper. I knew right when Kansas State beat them, they should have went home, but they brought them into this thing. Michigan played into their trap. Georgia was going to blow them out of the wagon. I want to see Georgia put 80 on them. The other 2 teams that need to apologize for being in these playoffs, and this is where the NFL made a mistake on it, where they should have said, hey, we're going to bring in 8 teams. That would have brought in Detroit and Pittsburgh. But Miami and Seattle need to apologize because these guys are just tune-up jobs for Buffalo and San Francisco this week.
All right, let's stay on that topic right now. Because the video can wait. Okay, about the Georgia video. It's a fun video. That's why. So it doesn't. So you're absolutely right. The Miami got no quarterback. They got a third string guy going. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson's maybe done. I mean, they're in the playoffs. I mean, they're not going to have an impact. The hottest teams in the NFL at the end of the year, some of them, the ones that got in the playoffs, the big team names like Cincinnati and all that. But Pittsburgh, yeah, they were one of them.
Detroit.
You're right. Detroit was one of them. Yes. Green Bay is one of them. I mean, they lost a tough game to Detroit. Those teams were the wild card teams. They just ran out of time. And it is a full season. But going in, who's hot and who's not? The teams that are in, like, Miami, you're not hot. You're not hot at all. Right?
Well, not only that,
Baltimore, you're not hot, weather. Baltimore. What's that?
Miami,
Seattle,
1 in 28 in cold weather under 30 degrees. It's going to be snowing there.
Seattle's not hot.
San Francisco's manhandled Seattle this year.
Yeah.
And one of them was a Thursday night game, I think.
We're all hoping that this NFL differential of, winning is like less than 6 points or something like that, can play into the playoffs. But you're getting good teams up against some teams that are just like you said. Seattle was first place. Remember how high they were a couple of months ago? They're like the Cardinals from a year ago. They backed in basically, right? Miami, the same thing. They were undefeated. They were rocking and rolling. They were in first place. Backed in. They literally, come on. The New York Jets, all they had to do, the lonely Jets, was to score 1 touchdown.
And that would have brought Pittsburgh in.
Yeah, and then you would have had a good matchup. Buffalo and Pittsburgh. That would be Buffalo, that would be a great matchup.
Either Detroit or Green Bay going to San Francisco, and they would have had a fighter's chance.
What a great. That's must-see TV stuff we're talking here, right? Yeah, hot teams. We've been talking about these hot teams. We've been watching Pittsburgh and Green Bay, right, on TV because they were hot. Detroit was getting exposure. They were on TV. People wanted to see these teams because not just the names on there, but it's just like the excitement they were bringing to the game, and it was great TV. And they kept winning, so you kept on. Like, I was buying in. I was like, and kind of bummed because I'm not that excited about what the matchups are. It's like there's, the Tampa game against Dallas. It's the only one I kind of want to watch in a way. The Giants and Vikings, they played each other. Should be a good game. Should be a good game, right? Buffalo and Buffalo's going to destroy them. Cincinnati is going to destroy Baltimore. They got no quarterback, right?
Yeah, exactly. So these are warm-ups. The only good ones could be I like Jacksonville over the Chargers.
Well, you're gonna watch that because you're thinking of the underdog, the Cinderella story. Jags.
Well, I've always been high on Jags. You know that on the show, doing it with you for years. Dad, I think Jacksonville will have a better chance to get to the Super Bowl than Kansas City will. I'm not saying they're going to get there this year, but I like Tampa over Dallas. Dallas can't stop the run. They don't play 4 quarters. And the Redskins, I had my Super Bowl Sunday by beating the Cowboys.
I got you.
And
right.
the Giants Viking one could be an interesting one because the Giants, it was funny on the Philly show. We had a lady that, covers the Giants, and real nice lady, that Nikki Gifts, and she got to get her on your show here. But she was basically, when you look at it, the Giants are all in because, Jones is a free agent. Saquon Barkley, an MVP candidate, is a free agent. I think it's going to get interesting if the Giants, don't do some damage in the playoffs. I think it's a toss-up between them and the Vikings. But,
I said this before all season long. A wild card team has a great chance to get to the Super Bowl this year. A legitimate wild card, not a first place team playing in a wild card weekend. Okay. A legitimate wild card team, non-divisional winner. And it took a hit with 3 teams that are not playing well in the playoffs. Maybe they magically figure it out, but they don't have quarterbacks. And Geno Smith has not been the same quarterback since, all the raw that he got.
Well, if it plays out and the Giants do win, that'll send the Giants to Philly. If Tampa will then go to San Francisco. And let me tell you, you're not beating Brady twice in the same year.
But who's the 7th seed? I thought the Giants were a 6th seed. Wait a minute.
The 7th seed is Seattle.
So Seattle, if they win, they would go to Philly. Yeah.
But
which
that's
you don't
going to happen. So I think it's going to be the Giants beating the Vikings, and that would set up another interdivision rival game.
That's
with
awesome.
The Eagles.
Yeah,
and
Tampa
would go to San Francisco, and
Tom Brady. Right, that could be Tom Brady's last game in the home city and state where he grew up against the team. There's your storyline right there, man. That's awesome.
I think your NFC Championship's Tampa and Philly. I think that's your NFC Championship game.
Yeah, they played once in the playoffs. Remember that one with the controversial catch? And it changed the ruling. Remember, where now that would have been called a catch, and the Bucks probably would have went to a Super Bowl that year. They had a great team. Yeah. But the year later, they did get back to the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl.
I think the other one is if Jacksonville wins, they can go to Kansas. I don't know. Be tough to beat them in Kansas City, but you got to get Kansas City on the road.
Yeah, that's not happening.
But Kansas City's going to get Cincinnati or Buffalo in their backyard. And let me tell you, either one of those teams aren't afraid to go into Kansas City. They've proven they can win there, especially the Bengals.
Well, if the Bills play them, they're going to have that neutral site in Atlanta. That's where they're going to play the AFC Championship game.
I didn't understand that. I thought it would be Vegas or Los Angeles. I don't know why they took it out to Atlanta.
I was thinking more in the Northeast area where both fans can travel easier and drive to it. The Indianapolis wasn't available, or they turned it down.
What was the reason Atlanta gutted and SoFi and Vegas didn't?
Could be availability or a true neutral site, maybe. Like they really want it, but like how many people are showing up? Like, yikes! It's yeah. And Atlanta, man, you just got the Atlanta's doing pretty good with their big games down there. But here's the other thing. They had Detroit, a dome stadium. I'm not quite sure if that benefits Buffalo more because it was closer to them. But you're thinking about dome stadium, so make sure the weather was, or did it have to be a dome stadium? Because both cities.
I don't know, but I thought for sure. My 3 choices were Vegas, LA, or Dallas, and then I thought the proximity of Kansas City to Dallas that would shoot Jerry's World out. I never figured Atlanta would be in this mix. I didn't figure that at all. I figured it was coming out west, and they were going to drive these fan bases out here.
You could have put them in Minnesota. You could have put it in Chicago. It's cold city, but hey, man, both these places are cold. Kansas City and Buffalo, so it wouldn't have bothered them. Fans would still showed up because they're used to the weather.
You know what? When you didn't have football out here for so many decades, why wouldn't you bring that out here in L.A. and have the bill. I mean, that would have been Hollywood. They got the NFL on Fox out here.
Well, it's only a couple-hour flight for these guys to go to Atlanta. It'll be 4 or 5 hours for Buffalo people. That wouldn't be fair to them. That wouldn't be fair. That was the only thing. But you could have put it somewhere else too. I mean, you could have find another city. Put it in Pittsburgh. It was sitting there. You play it in Pittsburgh.
I don't understand the reason for that as much as them not pushing the 8th team in each conference. I just don't understand it. Why
right.
the neutral site game has been a big thing, more so than pushing these other things. Why wasn't it a Bills-Bengals thing? What did the Chiefs have to do with this?
It's a cluster F. It really is. And the Bengals get ripped out of it because they had a chance. If they beat Buffalo, they had a chance of getting home field advantage also. So it's like they just benefited Mahomes. Mahomes got a break. He got a big break. All right. Here's a video. This is Georgia Bulldogs during the game, blowout national championship Monday night, and you got to watch this. So they're hungry. They're bored. They walk over to the fans behind the bench, the low level, field level suite stuff, and they go ask for food. Check this out. Bringing food for the boys, man. Some offensive linemen or defensive linemen. That's how bad the game was. That's how it's like the game is going on. They're just snacking.
Well, it's funny because everybody paid big money to go to this.
Yeah.
And it was a big hype train. And this thing, I mean, you could have probably walked in there at halftime, grabbed somebody's ducats that were just heading out of there.
Yep.
And they probably would have said, you know what? Just go enjoy the second half here.
Maybe they should put these games in places where if there's a blowout, the fans could have a better experience outside the stadium. Like go to Tampa, go to Miami.
Yeah, just put a Hooters or something outside the stadium.
All right. Here's a couple of guys have probably been to a few Hooters themselves. This is a commercial being filmed for Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. And they got together and they created an edible ear. Okay. And they're both in on it. They're going to make money on their fight where Mike bit his ear off. Okay. But they're trying to do the commercial and record it. And Evander has a hard time. He has a really hard time with his lines. Like he just keeps screwing up his lines and it's kind of comical. Mike Tyson is cool. It's kind of funny. Mike's comical. He kind of dropped the F-bomb by accident in the middle of the commercial, but here he is.
Cherry pie punch, and it will punch you the fuck out. And it will punch you in the eye. It will punch you right in the pie. Oh, punch you right in the pie. Oh, okay. And it will punch you right in the eye. And the pie will punch you in the eye. Pie will punch you in the eye? The pie. And we'll punch you right in the pie. No eye. Pie in the eye. We'll cherry punch pie. We'll punch you in the motherfucking eye. Oh, I forgot this is funny. It will. Okay. It'll punch you in the pie. Got it? I ain't no taste like cherry pie. Yes, they do. I should know. That was in the right?
Wow.
I guess I got to buy one of those ears and check it out. I don't know what the hell is it.
Wait, Evander Holyfield hasn't missed too many meals.
No.
Gosh.
All right. We'll stay with boxing, and this kind of made me sad. Mike Tyson does a lot of podcasting these days, and I can't stop watching him. He's hot right now, and he's talking to Oscar De La Hoya, and I was over almost 2 summers ago now. I was with Oscar and Chris Farina, and we were doing a photo shoot for Oscar. He was going to have a comeback fight, and I didn't know this was going through his head. And
I covered that one with him and Hopkins. I remember that
Oh,
one.
I
Hopkins.
remember that fight. The body
Hopkins
punch.
and De La Hoya.
Yeah, I remember.
covered
I was
that
there.
one.
I was there too, man. You were right there. See, we're getting close. We're closer than you thought. All right, so Mike asked him how is he doing about retirement, Oscar De La Hoya, and Oscar's having a hard time, folks. And this is kind of sad and scary in a way. I hope there's not like we've heard stories about Oscar doing some weird stuff in his post career, and athletes are just bored. Listen to this, and Mike asked him about retirement, and Oscar is struggling.
So how's it tired? To tell you the truth, fucking miserable. Yeah, why is that? Well, because aside from like my kids, family, and when I'm not boxing, I'm fucking miserable. Fucking miserable. For some strange reason, it's like boxing is like my savior. It's like boxing. That's all I know. That's all I know. I started fighting when I was 5 years old. And so when I'm not thinking about boxing, when I'm not thinking about fighting somebody or training it's like, fuck, what do I go do? I'm gonna go fucking destroy my life.
Oof. Ghost destroy. I hope somebody's around them. He seemed fine when I was there and everything. He looked like he was excited because he was about to fight again. And then, the COVID stuff, he got sick, and then the fight was called. That was like 2 years ago. He was gonna have a fight.
I'm never a big De La Hoya guy. I don't like those guys that dance. I like the guys that cut the ring in half.
Okay.
I like the Executioner and Hopkins. I kind of like Duran. I was never a big fan of these Leonards and De La Hoyas and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I was around Oscar a lot when he was at his height, and then I saw his fall. I saw him when he beat Cesar Chavez. I saw him lose.
I think he went against Pernell Whitaker too.
I saw Pernell, but then I saw the Hopkins fight, and that was the downfall when he took that big body shot, and then he went. I never seen that before. Guy get knocked down by a body shot, but Hopkins got him. That was a great fight, and Oscar, I'll give him credit. He took on every big name fighter. He did not avoid the big name, the great fighters. He went after them. He even went up in weight and things like he wanted to fight, and he was fearless. He was a pretty boy. He was the golden boy in many ways, but but
never accepted by, I think, the Mexican community. I don't know if it was just he went Hollywood or.
Yeah. I mean, but he did a lot for the Mexican community too, though. You know, he did a lot, but
he was never looked at like Chavez was.
No,
kind of like in Argentina with Maradona and Messi.
Yeah, well, that's true. Absolutely, but when he beat Chavez, a lot of people were upset. They were hoping Chavez would take him out, but Chavez was at the end of his career.
Chavez should have hung it up on that last fight.
Yeah, when
he lost it and they gave it to him, and I can't think of that guy that fought him in that last fight, and I don't know how they gave it to him.
Right. I was at the De La Hoya Chavez fight, and I actually bet on Chavez just because the odds were so good, and I thought maybe he had some magic left. And I think I had him winning after 8 rounds. He had to get past the 8th round, and then he had to win. One of those kind of like freaky bets, and he got tired. The old man got tired. He couldn't. He couldn't last.
The other ones that we don't mention, Marvin Hitman Hagler and Tommy Hearns.
Bless him. Yeah. Sad to see. All right, another video for you, man. This is the NBA the way it should be. No, this is NBA basketball. Okay, combined with wrestling, like Greco wrestling. This is we're watching a lot of these wild sports like in Eastern Europe or something. Like it's just something is going on in Europe, and they're creating their own sports. Look at this one.
This is almost like lacrosse.
What's going on, man? The whole world's going batty. It's like gender changes, right? Everybody's changing sports and mixing sports. It's crazy. Oh my goodness,
No doubt.
right?
No
It's
doubt about it.
like the mutt mating two dogs separate, and creating a mutt. Like it's like mutt sports or something, man. Because I showed you a few of these already. They just find ways. How about that one I showed you where the two guys held hands and they had a slap fight? They just try to knock each other out. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway, all right. I know we're running out of time a little bit here. We got about maybe 5 more minutes with you, and then we're gonna wrap it up for you. Let me go back to the top. Okay. And we're gonna finish off with the NFL itself. And where are we going here? Here it is. All right. These are the teams that are never won a Super Bowl. The ones with the red slash through it are out of the playoffs, so they don't get a chance. There are 5 teams in there. Out of those 5 teams, Jags, Chargers, Bengals, Bills, and Vikings. Wow, it's ironic. 4 of them in the AFC have never won. You think coming out of the AFC, 4 of these teams, one of them has a shot to win their first Super Bowl. Are the percentages are they in that favor of one of these teams finally getting their Super Bowl out of these 4 AFC teams?
Yeah, and I think Jacksonville and Houston, I know you got them crossed off. They're the only teams that have never been to a Super Bowl, I think, right? And Detroit could be in there with Cleveland.
Chargers lost to the Niners. Yeah, I think the only team that's never been to a Super Bowl are the Jags, who
and
lost
the Texans.
on that list. Oh, let's go back to the list. Texans, Lions, Jags,
Browns, the bottom 4 there, except
and
the
Browns
Jags are the ones that are alive.
Oh, ironically, the bottom 4. Good move. Because the Falcons have been twice. They lost twice. The Chargers lost 1. Cardinals lost 1.
Titans lost to the Rams.
Bengals lost
Cardinals
3
lost
times.
to the Steelers. Yeah.
Bengals lost 3 times in the Super Bowl. The Bills have lost 4 times. The Vikings have lost 4 times.
Who's the other one you got crossed off above the Chargers?
That's Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
But they've been twice.
Yep.
They've been twice.
I like the Bengals or the Bills' chances to get it.
If they get to the AFC Championship, then it's here in Arizona. So I like to see a Bills Vikings Super Bowl because finally one of them will try to get one. Because they have an 0-4 record.
God, I'll tell you, they're keeping the Super Bowl out here. I mean, we had it in LA last year. It's in Arizona. Then it goes to Vegas.
Oh, yeah, Vegas next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas. So we're not going to worry about prayer anymore in the NFL, are we? Because since prayer is back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Ever since the Hamlin storyline, everybody started praying again, and the NFL has never said anything. Nobody, not even the media, right? The Tebow days, everybody ripped as it's all changed. But that Russell Wilson for sure would, religious guy itself. But I just wanted to throw that back out there as we're closing down the show. J.J. Watt, does he get the hall pass to the Hall of Fame in
I
his
think
first
he does.
First attempt? Like first?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah, this is a great storyline. There, just a football player that I believe he stays retired. What do you think?
Yeah, you gotta wonder, man. A guy like that having this problem with the heart and all that, it makes you wonder what's going on.
I think I had a lot to do. Lot to do. All right, this is for you. Since you're the big time Pittsburgh guy from Pittsburgh, check that out on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, right above Najee Harris's right shoulder where the ball is, there's a recycle symbol. And on the scoreboard in Baltimore when the game was over a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And right there are 2 stars, the future, the Steelers.
Kenny Pickett, Najee Harris.
I mean, a whole bunch, Freiermuth and Pickens and down the line. They really are building something there. And Tomlin winning another winning season, and that recycle logo in the background cracked me up. It's like the Steelers, they just recycled again. They just completely recycled in front of our eyes. And they're a team to be reckoned with for the next 10 years or 5 years or something like that. But anyway, just putting that little symbol up there was like, you know what? That says a lot. That's an organization that knows how to do it. And just a reminder, folks, too. And do you realize the Steelers get the 32nd pick of the NFL draft?
Yeah,
because of the
Chase Claypool one.
Yeah. So good. It's going to work out for them quite well. State of Florida, 3 teams in the playoffs. Pretty good there.
Yeah.
And NFL ratings right here, 6.7 million fans watch as an average an NFL game this year. Like, no matter what, overall the average, the highest watched game this year was the Giants and Cowboys at 42 million. That's freaking crazy. 42 million.
That must have been Thanksgiving.
It was. It was. And out of the 100 top TV shows this year, right? Out of the 100,
Yellowstone,
including Yellowstone, right? All that stuff. 88 of them are NFL football games out of the 100.
Wow.
So the NFL still, even though they take their hits, even though they take their hits.
I'm working on Kevin Costner, man. I'm trying to get an interview with him. I got a good friend.
How do you get Kevin Costner?
hey, anything's possible when you hang around. You surround yourself with some good people in high places. Anything's possible.
What do you go hang out at the Coffee Bean on Sunset Boulevard and
get a sandwich at a place and talk to a guy? He saw me wearing a Yellowstone shirt, and we struck up a conversation. And he said he works on the thing, and I said, hey,
get me the guy.
Maybe I can, check out the work and give me Costner, man. I don't go for I go for the top, man. If I'm going to deal with these guys,
go to the Coffee Bean on Sunset Boulevard in the Sunset Plaza, right there, right next to the old the record store, the famous record store.
Oh yeah, Moby Disc.
Whatever, it's right there. But the Coffee Bean is on the west side of the Sunset Plaza. That fancy high level. Yeah. Heading into Beverly Hills, but the Coffee Bean, I've been there so many times and just sitting there meeting like entertainment lawyers, actors, famous people, just popping in there, all scraggly, getting out of bed, getting their coffee. That's where I go network. I just go sit down and have some coffee and chill. Do you have a spot in Hollywood anywhere out there that you like to go to?
Not too much Hollywood, in my backyard. Type of thing, walking down Ventura Boulevard and stuff.
Oh, you're in the valley.
Yeah. And you never know who you're going to get. Calabasas is just a stone's throw away. So,
I like Calabasas. Yeah, that's where Lisa Marie Presley passed away.
That's
where she collapsed. Yeah, it's sad to hear. Anyway, we're going to be hearing more about the Presley. I love Elvis, and I keep watching a lot of his documentaries, and now we got another one. I hope her kids. She's got kids, and I don't know how Priscilla is doing this, but it's kind of hard. So
keep the faith. That's the thing. I can't wait to ring this thing in next Thursday with you. Hey, we got to keep this thing going even after football season. We can handle it.
Oh, no problem. We got plenty. We got hockey. We got NBA, baseball starting up in about a month-ish. Spring training is end of January.
Deals, man. I got some deals
or February.
So I think this is going to be the year, baby.
23, baby. It's all you and me. All right, buddy. Mancini's out. All righty. Hanna Time here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna, we hope that you enjoyed the show. Please share the show. My sponsors below, scrolling through. And have a great Thursday night, the rest of your night. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your 3-day weekend. And we'll see you next Tuesday on Hanna Time in the morning on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna. Good night, everybody.